spirit underneath. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll be taping a couple of things because these are very interesting,
Right.
for all of us. So, you don't mind and don't
No,
be.
no, that's fine.
So my question is, when you said, okay, it starts as a voluntary organization, and then because of the cooperative, they start, there are people who start getting paid and all. So it's more of, like a credit union or a whatever, a cooperative which is functional. They are office bearers, they do get paid for it, and then they are there, they have time enough to organize the community and things like that, So that's what the way I see.
But the secret is that the community must have a sense of ownership, not just the leader. It should be the whole community should have a sense of ownership and a stake in that self-help group when it starts.
So they can police their own officer too.
Exactly. They need to hold their leaders accountable, and they need to have skills to hold their leader accountable. Or the elite of the community starting to say, well, this is mine. This is my money. This is my organisation. And so the community don't feel a sense of ownership of that institution. And if they don't feel a sense of ownership, they won't participate. They might get a loan, but they won't come to any meetings, they won't put savings into it. They just feel like, well, the leader is running it and it's not mine. And that won't give it the momentum to grow and to develop, because it will always be owned by one person or two people. They tend to be very dominant and tell the community what they will and won't do. That's not going to be successful long term. You've got to have that community ownership. And that's where you get growth as well. You get other people wanting to join. So the idea is that you start off small, you build a hub of people that are very connected, that have a sense of reciprocity, they are connected to their community, and then as people see the success, they want to join, and you get bigger and bigger. And then once you get to a certain size, those communities can then afford to pay somebody to do the accounts, and the board can meet regularly and approve the loans. And it's not just the institution that grows; the capacity of the community grows at the same time. So
Okay, then, but at this particular moment, what you are saying is, when the self-help group itself becomes even more, for example, they realize the benefits and all that, what you said, then they themselves, can function in a way that they can have an organization and they can pay for the staff, right?
when they get a certain size, yes.
Certain size. My question was, is it possible to bring in that organization someone who's prepared to do that now itself at the very beginning and get inside with the community, with the self-help group to say, okay, fine, this is a corpus of fund that you have, I manage the fund for you, and out of that fund, whatever the interest and all that they get by keeping that all these safe into a safe deposit or a fixed deposit, that will pay to this outside organization, and they are able to manage the self-help groups, the funds of the self-help groups, and the community. Is there a way like that?
Philosophically, you're disempowering the community if you take that control away. What we'd like to do is empower the community to take ownership of those self-help groups and hold their leadership accountable, and make sure that we have systems in place, passbooks, receipts, journals, etc. So there is a paper trail. So every time somebody takes a loan or pays a repayment, they can actually see that.
What probably, in another perspective, we're saying that someone should be giving them hand-holding.
Oh, and that's our job, yes.
Okay.
That
So
is
that's
our
it.
job.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
hand-holding them.
Okay.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
But not touching the money.
Yeah.
So we say to them, this is your responsibility.
Yes.
We'll support you and hold your hand as you do this. We'll give you all the support you need,
Yes.
but you need to have the ownership, not us.
Yes.
We can provide the technical assistance, provide the support, etc. And they can ring our people up in the middle of the night if they're giving a loan for an emergency. They can ring our people up if they're not sure, and they can guide them through. So there is that hand-holding. But we wouldn't want somebody to then take control of the funding, because that really, if we're going to empower the communities, they have to have ownership of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what we're finding is that, and that's what this 3 days are about, is to get them to actually think, okay, what do I want for my community? Where do I want my community to head? And how does this self-help group help me achieve that? And so the journey will actually get them to a point of making some statements about what they're going to do when they go back to their communities. And then that becomes part of that action plan that our staff will then help them achieve.
Okay. Now
does that make sense?
No,
Sorry.
it makes a lot of sense, thanks for all that. Now, in your experience, a group like this, how many years generally will it take them to become that what you...
We've got our CUD sites, which is Credit Union Model Development, that we run around Cambodia. We've got some very remote sites in Ratnakiri, which is very, very remote, because there's no commercial banks, there's no microfinance, there's nothing in those areas. And they're taking a lot longer. We always say from start to sustainability, and we're talking around about 3,000 people, average savings, etc., and average loan size. You're talking anywhere between 5 and 7 years to get it to, I'm talking about mature credit union that have good systems, good training. It takes time. It takes time to get them to that stage. Because we are working, we tend to work with the ultra poor. We're talking about people that may not have high literacy skills, numeracy skills. So you are starting at the base. But that's right at the start, from scoping through to sustainability, and financial sustainability and institutional sustainability. So good governance, good leadership, good processes, accounting systems, etc. So there's the community soft skills, and then you get into the more hard technical skills down the track.
Okay, one question, like we have this particular, and I think because this is such an important work as well, and there's a lot of things that we can do. So we can be, exactly. But I think it does, I fully agree with you that anything like this, would take this much of time, in terms of capacity building and an organization to become mature. Now the second thing is, I don't know why the EIRP was formulated, but we kept it that, okay, these are the only number of members who have joined can remain members. But you were talking about why not explore and let other members join. The only problem would be is for the other members, there's nothing like adding more money from what the corpus is there, it's there. But I think if within that corpus, if more members can be, say, provide or incentivize to join in, that's good enough. I don't think that anything is stopping them from joining, right? It's only the way right now it exists that, okay, then how do we bring in another 250 as a grant to that member?
I would argue against that, though, because a member should join because they see the benefits in being a member, not because they're going to get access to money. That it should be about, well, I want to join that because this is the right thing to do, and that it's good for my community, and I will benefit from a better... if you look at this program, isn't the end result you want healthier communities in the resettlement site?
Absolutely.
Forget about the financial services. You want healthier communities. No drug problems, children going to school, good water and sanitation, all the things that make people enjoy living in that community. And so the financial part is just a small part of the broader picture. So part of what we're trying to do is get people to say, well, you're living in this community. Do you want to live in a healthy community? And what does that healthy community look like? And so the self-help group is just part of that story. It's not the whole story. And so I wouldn't be providing any incentives.
Okay.
They should be joining because this is good for our community.
And they have to contribute when they join.
That's right,
The thing here is based on his idea that we should not limit it to those who become members. So, and then we have to eventually, if they see the growth of this community or this union, and then they wanted to join and put in more money, but we have to probably look into the bylaws whether it restricts any new members from joining it. Of course, when they join, they're not entitled to the CDF or to the SSNF because there's no money for them. So only those who were entitled to this kind of assistance can avail. The new members cannot. But also the bylaw should ensure that it is not restricting new members to join.
Yeah.
Because they're about to amend the bylaws, so probably we have to check into also that.
And that's a piece of work that the guys will do out in the field in terms of their governance structure and making sure that their bylaws sort of fit with their purposes, what they're trying to achieve. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But again, we don't make that decision for them. We talk to them. We tell them the benefits, and they need to make those decisions. Is this something that we want to open up? If they do, we'll help them. If they say no, we just want to keep it for our group. That's their decision. Absolutely. Yeah. The other thing is that at this particular moment, like what Ida, you were saying, that amendment of the bylaws, plus they were also looking at having re-election done to choose the self-help group leaders and all that, you know. So I think
so he's organising that, is he?
he was trying taking care of that. Otherwise, again, you know, different messages going and things like that.
It
You know,
worries
so that's
me.
a problem. Yeah. That is, and just to add, you know, because we monitor their activity, you know, and I want the activities to be monitored based on outputs and not inputs, you know, that I go to the site and I had a training program, I had a meeting, you know, I can have meeting for the rest of my life, you know. So, but then again, so this was a form device on what exactly is happening on this, and based on what the action plan is given by. But again, like I'm going back to saying there were too many players and therefore too many directions being given, and I'm sure this is also confusing the community and everyone. So this is a great, you know, opportunity to really systemize everything. So this is a progress report. Will give it to us. This is as of 4th March. I told him is to give us something like this every week. But then I want, you know, once we have discussions, say today and tomorrow, along with him is week. So there's just one report every month. We don't want huge things and all that because we want more people on the side working rather than just reporting. But because, you know, there has to be some paper trail within ADB, you know, so in what is the best form that we know, you know, how the self-help groups are progressing. You know, so what are the indicators and what has happened for each self-help group? You know, something we can sit down and devise, and you would know better than any one of us because you work directly, but we can look at that. And that would be sort of our progress report, and then you have your, you know, quarterly report for payments and things like that. You know, but if there is a need, we can also look at those kind of payment schedule, right, Ida? To make sure that you don't, you know, you have enough staff on the ground. Maybe you need more staff right now than later on, because always the beginning you need more work to be done. And so we are very flexible, but we just want to look at what is the best way to bring this program, you know, become successful.
And
that's what we are looking at.
And meet the objective of the TA that is in the TA paper itself. But
communities up correctly. We haven't empowered the communities. They're all sort of sitting there saying, give me some money. They're not saying, actually, I'm responsible for my well-being. And I think they're feeding into that. And that's not healthy for these communities. And we need to do some work around actually empowering them to feel, well, actually, these are things that people are offering. I can actually either take advantage of that, or I can sit here complaining. If they sit here and complaining, nothing's going to happen. So it's a shame that those feed into this. But also I think we need to do some work, CUFA needs to do some work to actually get people to actually have a different mindset,
Yeah.
to actually think about their responsibility and how they have a role to play in their livelihoods. So, and I also understand that there is a lot of women with children, so they need jobs that they can look after their children at the same time. So that's where I think the micro-enterprise will suit some of the women with children, so they can work from home, they can look after their children but also earn an income. But those that don't have those responsibilities can actually get work in some of the factories or other places. Yeah.
Like I was telling Mr. Manuel, there is a group in the Philippines, maybe you know him, Tommy Meloto, Gawad Kalinga. He does not only provide housing, but initially they build spiritual, that they make the poor people proud of themselves, that they don't have to depend on other people because they're strong and they are able to feed their family and not relying on others people help, that they're strong, they are fit to work, but you have to provide them work, a skill and the work. That's just it.
The opportunity, you provide the opportunity and people can take advantage of that opportunity, but it's not giving it to them, it is actually they're earning it. And so you're right, it's about being proud.
Community, but quite far from Metro Manila, and many international students, mostly from Europe, they visit that and get training for 6 months. They get training and they also provide training to the people. Very nice community.
Depends on the people on how they maintain that, and plus there's probably a commune budget and they have to access through that. So once government has provided them with these facilities, then it gets into the government's own program on how each of these communes are maintained. So we provided this to help of again the consultants, that they formed some committee members, so representative from the community and the commune and the village chief, they are part of the committee, and each member of the whole people within the community, they got to contribute towards, say, maintenance charges.
Right.
So for example, in Batambang there's a water pump, so there's electricity bill, there's some maintenance of pumps that they've got to contribute, things like that. Now, except for Sihanoukville, where people and some outside help they have collected roughly about $800, and they have also opened a bank account. And whatever the revenue is from wherever that they are getting the money or individual contributions, they are able to put this into the bank, and they are able to have this, revenue and expenditure sheet, which they probably now display at the community center. So it's a fairly transparent system. And so these consultants have been able to work with the community to develop them. Don't contribute, although they have a committee there. So once you are doing this, again, within, it's basically the same people. So if there are 100 odd people or 200 people, it's still, for me, a small community. And if they have one self-help group who's managing this and another committee for this, they can have that if that's what they want. But it would be good for CUFA also then to start engaging with, just like you were saying, it's not only the community, but a larger interest of the community on how they are able to then spearhead their efforts, their programs, and having a better community, having a better quality of life. Better quality of life also means the facilities that they have. So how are they able to maintain the road? How are they able to keep the area clean? Is it, solid waste, garbage disposal done properly? So some sanitation programs and things like that. We tried to provide them with some training and all that, but it had, some impact, but not fully. And for me, again, all these things do take time. It's not like next day, the community would be great and up and running. So, because it's already there, already made, there are manuals and all that, and some site reports which these people did, and I think and just get a bit of background on that. And with CUFA now doing the whole EIRP, getting involved with the whole community, can also mesh this whole thing within the whole program, so that we are looking at community as a whole, and not as what you were saying,
Components.
just exactly component and just getting money and being happy with that. So that also would be great.
Okay.
I know it's a fair amount of work, but it's basically the same.
Yeah.
I think it's all interconnected, but
Yeah.
by the very nature we also went separate, and we brought in components to this, but it's time we can exactly. So that would be good.
Organisation, if we've got a problem with somebody, we tell them, we step them through what they need to do.